going to talk about my grades, my GRE scores, my journey, what was in my personal statement. We're covering all of it. So hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is V. For today's video, we are going to be chit-chatting all about how I got into Harvard University, especially applying from the United Kingdom, England to be exact. If you're new here, my name is V. I just graduated from Harvard University in July. Okay, so firstly, let's discuss my academic journey and then I'll tell you what I studied. So I did my GCSEs at like my local high school, but obviously like it wasn't like the best school in the world, you know, but it was a good school and I found an amazing teacher there that really helped me. I came out with 2 A stars, 4 A's, 3 B's and 1 C, I think. And then I went on to sixth form where I studied, I can't remember, history, English and philosophy, and I came up with 3 B's, B, and then I applied for a foundation year at Oxford University, which was the first of its kind, and it was essentially like a scheme that helps students from underrepresented backgrounds who felt unsupported and haven't quite met the grades for a place like Oxford, and they want to do this quick year that helps get them up to scratch, and then if they succeed they can follow on and do a undergraduate degree there. It wasn't guaranteed. There were 10 of us that did the foundation year and only 7 of us ended up going to study the undergrad, so it was really hard and it wasn't a guarantee, and I was so stressed. Probably one of the hardest years of my life, but I ended up getting into Oxford and I was so excited. And then I ended up coming out of Oxford with a 2-1, which is on the grading system. I don't know how it works in other parts of the world, but in the UK, a first class, which is like 80% and above, you get a first class, it's like the top degree. Then there's a 2-1, which is I guess between 63% and 80%, I think. So that is the system. First, 2-1, 2-2, third, fail, and I got a 2-1, so 1 below the top. So I was really happy. And then I applied for Harvard and I got in, and now I finished. I've graduated and I left Harvard with, I got a 3.9 GPA from Harvard, and my grades were basically like A minus, A minus, BBA or something like that. So I ended up with a GPA of either 3.8 or 3.9, and I was very happy. Once again, that is exactly what I wanted. Yeah, that is my academic journey in a nutshell. Do not let things like test scores stop you. Not for me. Like, I'm very happy with working as hard as I need to, but also having a balance of having a social life, being involved in extracurricular. When I was applying for Harvard, when I read what the GRE scores were and like what you had to get, I began revising for that GRE test in, let's say I knew I was going to put my application in November for the scholarships and everything else. So I began revising in August or July, end of July or August. I took this very seriously. I was putting in hours of revision, and I learned the GRE system. This is the test that you have to take, by the way, if I didn't mention that. To get into Harvard, you have to take this GRE test, and I made sure I was watching YouTube videos. I bought this book that was this thick and I read it. I put in so much work. My mathematics in the GRE was poor, like it was terrible. I got below half of what they wanted, but I knew I'm not applying for a mathematics degree. My strong points are my analytical skills and my writing skills. So I smashed it on the other 2 things on the GRE, the analytics and the writing, but the mathematics I didn't do well. And my point here on that part is, don't feel like you need to have top grades in every single thing you've ever done, because that's just not the focus. If you're going to be a scientist, they can't be angry that your English score wasn't the best, because that's not your focus, right? So as long as you remain performing well in the things that you're applying for, the things that you care about and the things that you want them to know about, then you're gonna be okay. The second thing is you have to know your deadlines. Like, I had to stay on top of my deadlines because obviously I'm applying to an American university from the UK, and the systems just work a little bit different, so I had to stay on top of it. The first thing I had to do was obviously decide what school I wanted to go to, and that was the Graduate School of Education, and decide on the degree. Then I had to make sure I knew the deadlines for applications, because if you miss it, you have to wait until the next year, so make sure you stay on top of it and write it in your diaries. Then I also went to visit Harvard because I just wanted to get a lay of the land, like at least know what this place is, and go and touch it, feel it, see it, be there, so that it becomes more real to me. I also went and did a stalk of people on LinkedIn who'd studied the same degree as me. I went to check out what they'd done in the past. I went to just look it up. I basically went into a deep dive of the world of the degree that I wanted to study at Harvard, and just reading up about their philosophies, reading up about what the other students who've been on there were like, and just making sure it was the right degree for me, and also making sure when I'd be writing my personal statement, I was aligned with what I'm applying for. I also spent a long time looking into scholarships because of course I was coming from the UK and I wanted to make sure I would be okay. Harvard is really, really great for having a generous scholarship system. So about 30% of my tuition slash the money that I needed was covered by Harvard with their like bursary system. And then I also was then applying for scholarships to cover the rest. I have to be clear that I didn't get scholarship in the end because I just didn't get one, but I got as far as the interview and the last 5 people to be chosen. So I got through a lot of the stages and I just didn't make it to the final rounds. If you are applying from the UK, be sure to make sure you've scouted out the scholarships in advance because it's a really big deal, and the scholarship applications go in before your actual Harvard application, so be aware of the deadlines. They're very different deadlines that are moving parts, so have your finger on the pulse for the deadlines and make sure you're on top of it. Also, something else I had to think about deeply was my references. Who do you want to represent you when you're applying for Harvard? They take that reference very serious. I feel like, from my personal opinion, I could be wrong, that Harvard value your personal statement, what your words are, your referees, and I think they value that more than they do your scores, because your scores are just a reflection of like how you performed on that day, and like it's a GRE, it's scary, you could have just got a bad day, whatever, but your references are people that know you. They're speaking on your character, they're speaking on your behalf, and know the university you're applying for. Harvard is so driven on people's change. Like, are you trying to change the world? Like, what kind of person are you? It's very much about your character and like the things you've been through, how did that make you stronger, what did you do from it, how did you turn a bad moment into a good moment. They're very driven on that. So when you have your references or your personal statement, you have to make sure it's so in line with that. And mine was so in line with like Harvard and their philosophies, and I feel like that pushed me on more than like the GRE scores that I got. Then comes the big one. I began my personal statement. Now this for me is the bread and butter of my Harvard application. This was the moment that I'd been waiting for. This is the moment where you get to showcase yourself and show them who you are and why you deserve to be there. Everything else is kind of something that you just have to do. Like, you know, you have to throw in your GRE scores, you need to send them your transcripts from your past schools, you need to do all this like stuff that shows them that you're a real person. But your personal statement is where they really get to meet you. Like, this is where it's outside of your grades, it's outside of this is where you get to write your own story. You get to show them who you are and who you want them to see you as. And for me, this was my chance to shine. My personal statement was my chance to let you know where I'm coming from, why I want to be there, what my future ambitions are, all of that good stuff. And I loved my personal statement so much. Or it's statement of purpose, sorry, if you're in the States they call it statement of purpose, but I just call it a personal statement. So in my personal statement, I made sure I told them exactly who I was, because I'll be damned if I downplay myself because I want to be humble and all this stuff. This is not the time for that. This is the time to let them know anything, because let me tell you something, they don't know what they don't know. Hear me again. They don't know what they don't know. So if you don't say, I have a YouTube channel that has 220,000 student subscribers from around the world who are tuning in to watch videos all about self-help and how to better themselves and gain new skills, all this stuff that they're dedicated into, community that's beautiful, is thriving, it is all about wanting to make change, helping each other, it's self-empowerment. If I don't tell them that, they will not know that. I have to be my biggest cheerleader when I'm writing my personal statement and doing these kinds of applications, because no one's gonna go, oh, V's downplaying it, she doesn't just make videos, she's a YouTuber, like no one else can do that for me. I have to do it for me. So when you're doing your personal statement, hype yourself up. Hype yourself up. because you are amazing, you are phenomenal, you have done these things. But it's such human nature, especially if you're British. It's such a British thing that we do. Like, we're quite like, oh no, like, do I want to look at me? No, 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 no. You are incredible and we need to hear about it. So in my personal statement, I spoke about how I was born and raised in Zimbabwe and what growing up there was like, and how that's helped me want to go and fight for educational equality. That experience when I came to England, I wanted to make sure no one else had to experience that. So then I started to do this, and then I ended up fighting for education. And then now we're here with a channel, and then I'm doing all of this ambassador work. And I like wove a story, genuine story about how this moment here led to this, which led to that, which led to my personal statement read like art. I don't know if I'm overhyping myself here, but I loved it because it was just a story of me. Like, there are certain factors in life that you can change and things that you can't change. The things that you can change, you should go and change them, work on them. Things like, I don't know, your personal statement, you can go and work on that, you can go and fix that, you can go and alter it, do this and this. Your race, your household income, your background, you can't change those things, so make sure you use them to your advantage. These things that you can change and improve, make sure you revise, make sure you study, make sure you get a good GRE score, whatever you need, whatever is required of you, do it to make sure you can get to where you can get to. But if you can't change those things because they are just what you were born into, then make sure you figure out how they've contributed to you being the amazing person that you are. So my personal statement was just an amalgamation of my life and showing how this bad moment, I turned it into a good moment by doing this, and this moment I did this. I spoke about Empowered by V, which is on my neck, if you can see, EBV. I spoke about Empowered by V and how we've got the student community of young underrepresented students who want to make better for themselves and do all of this stuff. I spoke about that community that we're creating. I spoke about, what else did I talk about? McDonald's. I spoke about McDonald's, how I spent a lot of time working there because I had to do a part-time job to like support myself. But in the process of being there, I made a second family. I learned how to be resilient, how to innovate, how to think on my feet, how to communicate, work in a team. There were so many good things that came from some of the bad stuff in my life that I will never downplay. I am proud of my background. I'm proud of like what I've been through because it's what's made me me. And I made sure in that personal statement I let them know I'm not telling you this stuff is like a sob story. I'm telling you to let you know how strong I am, how I can bounce back, and how I've had a different walk of life, but there's still a lot I can contribute, and I'm still a valuable member of your class. Like, I can be a valuable member of your class. So I made sure I like spoke about all of that kind of stuff, and I just love my personal statements so much. And that was something I worked on for so long. Like, I feel like if I had to say why I think I got into Harvard, I would say 90% of it was because of my statement. I would absolutely say that because it was just so genuine. And I spoke about why Harvard, why now, and why Graduate School of Education, why I wanted to be involved in education, why I wanted to help change the world. It wasn't like a I want to change the world full stop. It was a I want to sit at the table with other change makers to implement different strategies and use this to help change the lives of these people, not just for 1 second or 1 week, for generational change, to make an impact. And I was so clear about it and so cutthroat that if you read my personal statement, you wouldn't be confused about what does she want. It is so clear. So that is what I would say I think got me into Harvard, truthfully, is that statement. And if you can, spend as much time as you can, let people read over it, and like I said, your references as well. Don't just go for someone who you think is big and like it looks fancy. Go for people who actually know you, people who actually know the work that you do and can vouch for you. Because when that personal statement reads truth and also your references read truth and they match and everything just clearly shows why you want this, magic can happen. So yeah, my point is that the thing that really got me through was talking about my voluntary work and just talking about every experience that I had, the things that, especially the ones that you make for yourself, like things like being part of a society or doing charity work or voluntary work or whatever. Talk about all of that. You don't need a fancy, marine biology experience in Abu Dhabi with, shadowing the vice president's son, blah, blah, blah. You don't need it to be fancy for you to be noticed. Like, you just be yourself, tell your story, talk about the things that are unique to you. And that's what I did. Like, I literally vouched for myself so hard, and I think that's what got me into Harvard, and I loved it. It was just an amazing experience. I would do all again in a heartbeat if I could. Unfortunately, the pandemic broke out, so I had to do mine in my bedroom, which was so annoying because I really wanted to be a cheerleader. I wanted to join societies. I really wanted to be in the American culture, but unfortunately it didn't work out that way for me. But that is it. I really don't have much else to say. There was no secret or like something special that I did. It was LinkedIn, stalking people on LinkedIn, YouTube. I think I watched Renee's videos on YouTube 20 million times. Like, I watched her videos, I watched lots of people who'd been to Harvard's videos and just studied them inside out. Things that I can do for free. Every experience that I got that's in my CV or that is on my personal statement or that I used for when applying to Harvard was all free. But that is it. I love you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it was helpful. I'm happy to do more videos. We can do a Harvard series if you want. We can do an Oxford series. Oxford as well, obviously, if you want to know about Oxford, I'm happy to do that. We can do whatever you want, okay? This is your channel as much as it's mine, so let me know. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I love you a million, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. I hope this was helpful, but I love you so much. Please press subscribe. See you soon, and adios amigos. Vamos arriba. Ay ay ay. Bye.